welcome to the sound test room. Today we are taking a look at the VS Visual Synth from Imaginando. Running it with the KeyStep Pro because that would be cool if it was live. And also we have FAC Drum Machine doing the drums. Because it's fab. And I can program it with the KeyStep. Then in channel 2 we have this SynthMaster doing this kind of just for now, these kind of, and you can see I'll explain all this in a sec. So if I go back to the drums, this is linked to this, and then this is, and then this is linked to these video materials. So how do we set this up? Right, okay, so Visual Synth, this is a synthesizer, but instead of playing sound, it plays light. Which is very nice, but it requires MIDI input to do this. So let's show me how I've got this set up. So we have channel 1, which is this, channel 2, channel 3, which is this, and then channel 4, which I haven't set a sound for, is this. And then all this is being routed into Mix Bus A, and Visual Synth sits in the effects slot. Now, for ease of operation, I have this set up dead obviously, but you can set the MIDI up however you wish. Hi Ivan, I said hi Russ, hi Thomas. You can set this up however you like. So if you notice here, I have this set as number 1, and then we have number 2, number 3, number 4, and we can have up to 8 of these plus a background. I'm not going to use the background tonight because I just want to keep this simple so you understand. The background is easy to use, it's just something is not necessary straight away. So you need to make sure that each of the actual, so for instance number 2 is routed to the correct MIDI channel, and you do that here. So if I have this MIDI channel here, and I'll just see if there's any power in my pencil. This MIDI channel controller here, you see it goes up, it'll count up to 16 obviously. I have this set to 2. If I have it set to 3, nothing's going to happen. So we set it to 2. And that's set there for this image. And all the other controls, like along here, and the actual LFOs and the audio LFOs, all decide on how this reacts. So you'll see you have two envelopes. You have an envelope in the middle here, so envelope 1 and envelope 2. So watch what happens if I turn the release up on the release here. See, it's like a synth, it takes further longer and longer to fade away. And if I was to do the release really tight, it would just disappear. So little bit of release is nice though. And the same with the attack. Might be nice if you had some really like slow evolving chords, which we can mess with, I guess. And then what we can do, so let's take the attack down a little bit faster. If we go in here, this is where we can change the color. It's also where we change the actual blending mode as well, but stick to screen, it's because you'll be able to see everything. So you can change the color, and also you have different things like, and these will change depending on what actual kind of elements you have in there, material they call it. But you can have speed. And the cool thing is all this is modulatable. You can modulate everything. And it's pretty easy to modulate stuff as well. So then you have your X and Y. The size, complexity, rotation, and you could, like I said, all this is controllable via modulation as well. So a bit more release maybe. So if we go to the first one here, select track 1. If we turn our release down, you can imagine now what's going to really happen, and the attack is really fast. So you can add different things, noise on this, glow. Again, X and Y. So you could say, well, I'm going to stick that over there, go to element 2, select MIDI channel 2 so we can hear it. And I'm going to move this over here. And I'm going to go to number 3, which is this one. And I'm just going to disable it for the moment. So now when I press play on this, you'll see the blue thing for the kick drum over here, and then our second one for this one over here. And we've got really fast releases. Go full screen. Okay, so now we've got them two spread over there. We could go back to number 3 and we could make sure it's enabled here. So we've switched it on. And then when we press 3 now, because we've got MIDI data playing on track 3 as well. Or we solo it. Okay. Now the alpha, I don't know if any of you watched Gavin's tutorial, I'm sure many of you have, but the alpha is to do with the background opacity of anything that's black, I think. So if you use a background, you can fade the background out so you'll see more of the foreground images. You know, there you go. Yes, so you get 8 layers. You get 8 layers. I'm using 4 layers because I'm using 4 MIDI channels, but you get up to 8 layers. You can get a bit chaotic 8 layers, obviously. So to change a layer, you have options. You can go in here and you can copy, paste, reset, or just go to materials, right? So you can copy another layer to another layer, etc. If we just double tap on it, it takes us to the materials that are supplied, and there's quite a few with these different ones. And then there's a big stack of presets, and the presets are kind of pre-mapped LFOs and stuff. I would suggest just having a mess around with doing it yourself. So you could choose, say, for instance, this one now as number 3. So maybe with those 3 playing now, Let's take solo off. Let's go to number 2, say, and change that. Let's try that. Take a bit more release. Right, Dean, as far as I know, the only way to do that would be to actually... Hi, Daniel. Oh, while we're here, we're doing a pack of Daniels for Cube Synth tomorrow night. We've got stacks of patches that are absolutely free for Cube Synth Pro from Daniel, from Zevon. So we'll be demoing them tomorrow night. Now, I'm just going to get myself some lightage here. Okay, so yeah, I guess the only way you can do it is screen record it, Dean. There you go, Jade's just said. So you'd have to screen... But you basically go full screen and then... change out some of these. Trail on this one. So what's cool? Let's see. Let's choose this red one in it. Which is for MIDI track number 2. We said we can go and change the colors and stuff like that. And this is the audio that's coming in. You have 4 LFOs, so 1, 2, 3, 4 LFOs and 4 audio modulation sources as well. And if you go into, if you press this screen now, you'll see the modulation matrix. Now you'll see hue is selected here, and then you have like, oh, I don't know, we can change the alpha or the brightness or the saturation. But say LFO1 is going to change the hue, and we do this by putting an amount on like this. See, amount of plus or minus. So if we're playing our little, let's just get rid of that. If we play our thing, let's play our little thing. And let's solo this. And let's add some hue to the LFO. How cool is that? Let's go back and add some more release. Now if I mute it, it's going to go away because it's getting information from MIDI. This is another thing to remember. At the moment, I'm triggering all of these three sounds on channel 1, 2, and channel 3 via MIDI. You don't need to do that. And remember, so there's your channel setting there. So this will be channel 2 because I'm keeping it in order. So channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, etc. And we'll add another one in a sec. Glide is literally like a glide. It kind of glides between everything, like portmanteau. You have a mono and poly mode as well. Not really sure what that does, but you can change the LFO. So at the moment, it's a very smooth transition between those high spider, a high wall. It's a very smooth transition between those effects, the hue. But we can speed the rate up. We can switch sync on. Change the waveform. audio. What's the audio modulation now? The thing is, so we're only on LFO1, for LFO1 here, and audio modulation 1. And there's 4 lanes of it. So if you go into the matrix, you'll see straight away what that means. We're only using LFO1, and we're using audio modulation 1. If we go onto another page here, it just changes what's available to modulate. You see? So for this particular number 2 thing we're on. So let's say we're gonna change the thickness, maybe, I don't know, but we'll do that with the audio modulation, right, on audio modulation 1. So if we turn it on, let's see what happens. And let's change the speed and the pattern and the gap. So now we're modulating all over the place with audio modulation, which is this. Fast release, spectrum mode. Let's change it. Let's unsolo it. Let's change this one. Change the colour and size. Harder edges. Let's have a look at this, solo this one now. Unsolo it. So this is the cool thing. Let's go back to track 1. And if we look at number 1, or solo number 1, which is the drum, which is FAC Drumkit. So I think it's the default kit. If we get something that reacts better to our drum kit sound, so for instance, let's double tap it and add oh we are. This is very cool. And like that. So solo is on now. So if we play out, we'll get our kick. We'll just mute those two and look at the kick. So if we had So I'm just going to record some more Midi in, so you can see it's now going to affect 1 as well, because we're on the same channel, obviously. That's all affecting the drum now, so we can have a mess around with that, say. Rotation. Let's modulate. Let's modulate the X and Y. So let's go into our second LFO here. Let's go into our modulation matrix. So LFO2, did I say X? Awesome. Maybe not so much. And let's kind of modulate the Y as well, shall we? And we let's modulate the zoom as well. Maybe the speed. And let's take off solo. And it is off solo, so no, off solo. Yeah, it's half price. Now, like I was saying, at the moment, it's all been triggered by Midi. Okay, so I'm impressed. The original tempo, it's synced to the host. So the tempo on this is 81 BPM. So yeah, you can, well, I mean, we can speed it because it's all Midi. It's cool. We can speed this up if we like. Slow it down. Right, so we've used 3 so far. Now you see it's gonna get like, using too many will get too busy. You don't really want it to get too busy. So let's go to number 4. I'll go to number 4 here. And there's nothing. You'll see that, like, in number 4, you'll notice that immediately all these get grayed out. But enabled will be off. Solo will be off, obviously. The MIDI trigger will be initially on none. Now, if you have the MIDI triggers on none, whatever's coming through will trigger the sound. Any audio that's coming in. Let's just get back to our audio in kind of thing. Let's pick a sound, which is this one, right? And you'll see how I've set this up, yeah? Channel 4. So this will be channel 1. So channel 1 will be filtered out for channel 1. And then this will be for channel 2, obviously. And then in the end, when this goes in the effects slot, when Visual Synthesizer goes in the effects slot, I'm routing the MIDI to the KeyStep Pro. You can route the MIDI anywhere you want. Obviously, you don't need to actually route it to anything in particular. You can route it to many places. I'm using the KeyStep Pro because I can go, all right, I've got 4 MIDI tracks I can play with very easily, program in. Also, the KeyStep Pro is receiving clock from the iPad, from AUM. So that's easily set up. You just go into here and go into the little drop down. It says send MIDI clock enabled and select the controller. So instead of me press and play on this or stop on this, which won't do nothing, all I need to do is hit this. And that sends off any MIDI data that I've recorded in here gets played from this, so it makes everything easier. Because if I want to add, say, some more drums, as if I wanted to add a drum computer or a noir that wasn't affected by anything, for instance, I could just do this, and everything is going to be in absolute perfect sync. So all I need to do now is make sure that my pattern is turned on in here. I don't need to route this anywhere because it's just just MIDI, it's just playing audio. It's going to have nothing to do with what's going on here. But when I put Visual Synth on, that's cool. So like I said, let's find a sound in here. So this is a beta, obviously, and it's the beta's just had all its presets added. So now I have like 3,655 patches in here, and it's a fully programmable synth. It's insane. So all our cool stuff from SynthMaster Player, for instance, is now in here as well. So say we wanted to go with, say, oh, Sounds of the World, you know, Sounds of the World from SynthMaster Player. We pick our Indian. Yes, you can import your well, it's a bit, you can build your own video materials, yes. I don't know how to do that, but you can, I think. So I like that. I like the sound tool. But now if I wanted to, because of the brilliance, because of the brilliance, we can see that it's only using one layer. If I turn that off, nothing's going to happen. We can now start to completely change that sound, where this would be absolutely impossible to do in SynthMaster Player. Which means I could also say, oh, let's see, let's go and have a look at what's going on in here. I could even switch on and maybe go and just gonna do this. Let's see. Oh, let's use one of Dean's, shall we? One Dean. Oh, let's use Doug Formant. So now I've completely changed up my sound tour sound with layer 2, and I could actually as well also go in and actually let's go to my effects. Anyway, that's just what I'll be doing now. Right, let's get something really nice, some sort of like oh no, I'm in the wrong thing. So maybe in sounds, let's take this back to all. I want like a pad sound. Gosh, need to narrow me thing. Let's see. All I want to, let me see. Just let me get a quick pad sound. Right, that's a good one. Let me just have a bit of a thing. So that might be nice because it has. So I'll just set the length. So if we now go to Visual Synth, I'm muting them, so they're all going to fade out, and now we can start to add to number 4. So let's double tap, maybe some of that. Now you're probably thinking, right, I'm not seeing anything. Well, this is because we need to set our channel for the kickoff to number 4. That's our Midi channel. It's switched off, so we need to turn it on. And now what's happening is this. There's no trigger. So it's just gonna work. So you don't need to do all this mad MIDI stuff, by the way. You can just have it running freeform sort of thing, and you can kind of change the colors, add you can zoom in and around, and you can add the clouds. If I switch this to MIDI now, it's obviously going to go away, and it's not going to come in until we start to play. So if we run this to hi Brad, so if we run this like glow down, and the brightness, how cool is that? Yes, no, listen, it will just run. It's not an audio signal. You can run it with audio as well. It picks up the audio signal as well, look, see? But that's none. That's picking up the audio. And not the MIDI input. See? There's no trigger on this, but it's still picking it up via audio. How cool is this? So now you can kind of perform with your mutes and your separate 4 things that you've set up. If you go full screen, it's awesome, isn't it? Look, watch. Get the drums now. So what's good as well is if you take the time and you could build this really beautiful, lush, ambient, textured kind of vibe going on, and it's just lovely, you know. So it doesn't have to be like a beat you're playing with. That's all of it. So for instance, let's see. Let's solo this one. Double tap and maybe pick something a little less kind of nuts. But like I said, you know, you've got 4 LFOs if you want, and you've got 4 audio modulation sources as well. I'm just going in there. You really go nuts with the modulation, and like I said, they change right. These are your destinations. These are your LFOs. These are your destinations. Your destinations can be changed via this little thing, and if there's stuff to be had, it'll be there, and things like that. And it's great because what's nice is once you've set this up, you can change the stuff out, the actual video materials, you can change them out on the fly. And you're still going to be, all your settings are remembered and everything. And if it's Midi or it's just triggering, etc. So I've got it all on Midi because it's nice to have it on Midi with the KeyStep Pro, doing all of the sequencing work. It's handy. But imagine what, like, because of the way iPads now integrate with everything, it's just awesome. It's just absolutely awesome. I could have Midi running out of this now into hardware synths, and it's all getting clocked from the iPad, and it's going to all be locked into this, so you can send. And like I said, we're only using 4. You can have more. The background thing, right? If you long hold, you can go into the Files app or Photos. So I could go and add one of my photos. I'm not going to do that, but you can add a photo. And you can have up to 8 layers, like I said. It's pretty straightforward stuff. It's not like it's super complicated, you know what I mean? It's once you start playing with it. And so we could start changing stuff. Let's tell you what. Let's unsolo the stuff, right? Would have taken, right, let's unsolo all the stuff, and let's just start changing out some of the things on the fly. And you can see our tempo is 70 BPM, our clock source is the host. We know this, we've seen we can speed it up, slow it down, etc, etc. We've seen that you can add extra stuff anywhere you like. Of course you can route it in if you want to. You know, you can route your Midi however you wish. You can also have Visual Synth like just in the effects slot of anything. However, you're going to lose out on the audio modulation. See the audio modulation 1, 2, 3, and 4. You'll lose out on that if you only have it running down from one synth. Or I'd have like the audio going through it all, just so you can pick and choose. Also, as well, I will say as well that you can MIDI learn anything, so any controller you like, you can mess around with and have actually hands-on MIDI control. So it has absolutely full MIDI learn there. You can see I'm not going to MIDI learn anything now but you can MIDI learn anything as you would learn anything else. Also as well, which Gavin pointed out, which is also really cool, is the way they've done this is instead of having all your parameters are exposed, by the way, for LFOs, for external LFO control. What's cool is you have layer 8 and then you have the background layer and then you have the modulators. They've put them into folders, and I thought that was a really, really great idea. So you can go into, because see how much stuff you get? Imagine having that over all of it. It'd drive you nuts, wouldn't it? So you can every single parameter is exposed for each and every single independent layer as well. So awesome stuff there from Imaginando. Really, really clever. So what I was going to do is let's play the thing and let's just bounce out a couple of these materials. These strange dark materials. Not sure why that's not showing up. Messing around with the audio modulation. Cool beans. Oh, rotation. Solo off. There you go, guys. Jade is on at 9, and someone needs to put a link in. I'm sure Jade will. Anyway, so there you go. Brilliant. A top job. SynthMaster 2 is sounding awesome. She'll be out by the end of June. And you also used the initial kit from oh yeah, see what happened? See, it's other than anything else, it's just a lot of fun, isn't it? Awesome stuff, guys. Thanks so much for joining me this evening. If you like the video, please strike the like. Please subscribe. If you're not subscribed, please consider making a one-off donation or a super chat or a super sticker or becoming a Patreon from as little as $1 a month to help support what me and Joe do here at Sound Test Stream. It is very, very, very much appreciated. Riffer. I knew Jade was doing Riffer, so. Oh, thanks, Kenny, and hi, Kenny. Guys, I'll let you say ta-ra to each other for a few minutes while this plays. Let's change this one out now. Oh, that's cool. Brighten it up a bit. Oh yeah, sorry. One more thing before I go. Right? One more thing before I go is it also comes with a load of presets, so you can just practice a few different presets. And Gavinsky suggested that by swiping up and down you could change preset whilst in full screen mode. Which is very cool. Loads of presets that have been made by Perplexon. In fact, all the video material is supplied by Perplexon as well. And theoretically, I've lost mine because I should have saved it. Anyway. Guys, I'll see you later. Ta-da.